So I want to join Paul in verse 20 and say, but now is Christ risen from the dead and become the firstfruits of them that slept. Christ is the firstfruits. Now that feast of firstfruits was fulfilled in the resurrection of Christ. And then Pentecost came along 50 days later. Now, Christ is back from the dead in a glorified body, and he's the only one up to this morning. Now, in view of that, we're waiting for Pentecost. A brother said to me some time ago, and he's a Pentecostal brother, and he's a friend of mine. He said, you know, Brother McGee, I'm expecting a Pentecost. I really shocked him. I said, I'm looking for Pentecost too. Oh, he said, you don't mean it. Oh, I said, I don't mean it like you mean it. You think it, you're going to repeat it down here. You won't repeat it down here. But when he comes, that's going to be Pentecost. I tell you, friends, that's when he takes his church out of this world. He's the first fruits. Afterward, those that are Christ that is coming. How wonderful it is. Christ is risen from the dead, and he's the first fruits of them that slept. For since by man came death, that's Adam, by man came also the resurrection of the dead. In Adam all die. And that's the proof you're in the family of Adam, is you're going to die if the Lord tarries. Even so in Christ shall all be made alive. That is, all that are in Christ will be made alive. But every man in his own order. Now, there's not a general resurrection day. The interesting thing is that the Reformers recovered a great deal of Bible truth. They didn't recover it all. And I think we're living in a day when we're seeing a great many things develop, and one of them is eschatology, the doctrine of last things, that is prophecy. But in times when great truths are being developed, there's a lot of heresy and a lot of nutty things being said. There were a lot of things being said about the person of Christ, the inspiration of Scriptures in those early days. That's not true. There's a lot of false teaching about prophecy. And again, I seem to have a lot of hang-ups. May I say I have another one? And that is, I do not like this idea today of teaching Revelation on radio or any other place, and you haven't taught any other book. There are 65 books that come before Revelation. Now, we're going to teach it in this 5-year program, but we will have covered 65 books. Then we're going to take up the 66. Now, prophecy is important, but it's not everything. And it is being developed in these days, and it needs to be developed very carefully, by the way. Now, will you notice, as he moves on down into this particular section here, he says, but every man in his own order, Christ the first fruit, afterward they that are Christ that is coming. Coming for what? For his church, my friend. Now, then cometh the end. End of what? End of the age. And how will the age end? Well, there'll come a great tribulation. Then there is going to be a millennial kingdom here on the earth. Satan will be released again, and then he'll come to this earth and establish his kingdom forever, the eternal kingdom. Actually, the eternal kingdom is a projection in a way of the millennial kingdom, only the millennial kingdom is a time of trial. Then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to God. When is that? That's the end of the millennial kingdom. Even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and authority and power. That means the millennial reign of Christ. For he must reign till he hath put all enemies under his feet. That'll be Satan. Then the last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. And I'll be glad when we get rid of that fellow. For he hath put all things under his feet. But when he saith all things are put under him, it's manifest that he's accepted, which did put all things under him. That Christ is not subject to God. But wait a minute. What does the next verse say? When all things shall be subdued unto him, then shall the Son also himself be subject unto him that put all things unto him, that God may be all in all. What does that mean? It means simply this, that when he completes the millennial reign here upon this earth, and then when he established the eternal reign, I think he's going to turn it over to David down here and the saints of the church. And we may rule by proxy, but we may not during the eternal reign. I think it'll be turned over to David. And then he returns back to his place in the Godhead, where he was at the beginning, that God might be all